All right. Hello. Good morning. Welcome to Coffee and Crafts with John from Pro Crafts. Here we go. See the chat's already lit up a little bit. I love to trigger Darksider and say shit like, I don't believe that conditions matter. I know he's a huge believer in conditional play. I'm just not. And again, it's how do I say this correctly? Conditions happen, right? Like your observations aren't wrong. And this is what I want everybody, and you specifically, to understand my position on this. It's not wrong to say the sevens are clustering. It's not wrong to say that we haven't seen one in a while. It's not wrong to say that X thing is happening more than it ought to, right? I always say that, right? Matter of fact, I say when I'm betting, I look for streaks. I like to streak bet. I love it when the don't goes on a run, or the field goes on a run, or something like, or red and black, God forbid, roulette, right? I love when runs happen, right? And when a run happens, you can attack the run. When a run is happening that's negative to you, you either get out of it and wait it out, or bet super low until it takes off again, right? Waylon, I know, likes to attack a negative run with bigger bets, right, until it works itself out. I would rather kind of pull back and let it sit. That could be called conditional play, but I don't believe in taking rolls off necessarily, because like I don't do this whole if this then that kind of thing. You end up missing out on more than you gain. Like, and again, I can write mathematical proofs on this kind of stuff, but it doesn't ultimately matter if you're waiting a roll because of a condition or waiting a shooter because of a condition. It all evens out when you're back live again, right? And so that's the reason why I don't do it, right? I don't go balls out crazy mechanical play either. Like I said, I tailor and move my stuff around when I'm playing, based on the streak that we're currently in. But I'm not gonna try and hide when I don't like what I see. Like I'm not gonna go 2 sevens and I'm off, or horn number I'm turning my bets off. I just don't play it that way. I just don't know that it matters if you see a horn number that your next bet should be off. That feels weird to me. Unless unless you're looking at somebody who's an actual DI who's having a bad day, and then you might alter stuff. But I just don't. I don't know. I've seen as many rolls as you have in my life, and I know there's many streaks that happen. I just play the streaks differently than you do, right? You're a little more hardcore with how you see it. I play the streaks differently. I just bet softer and harder when it's happening. I'm not just going to pull back when I don't like what I see, because what I just saw doesn't mean that it's going to happen again. I know that the dice have no memory, and I know that every roll is the same. I was trying to explain this to somebody the other day about the whole trending thing. I think I've said this on the show before, and Myopia Movie brings this up in our upcoming Fireside Craps, actually. The idea that if you walked up to a roulette table, okay, and you saw 15 reds in a row, which happens all the time, 15 reds in a row, what's going to happen next, right? There are those of you in this audience, and I'm looking at chats right now, and I'm talking to you. There are those of you who would say the red is trending, bet red. There are those of you who would say black is due, bet black, right? So I would come back and ask you this: what are the chances that a red comes next? It's still, taking the greens out of it, it's still 50-50. It doesn't change. Like, because there's 15 reds, red doesn't become a 60-40 favorite. It's still a 50-50 bet. If somebody throws 4 nines in a row, on the next throw, it's still a 4 out of 36 chance to roll a 9. It doesn't become a 5 out of 36 chance because you rolled so many 9s, right? If I rolled 5 sevens in a row, and it sucks for me to lose that many bets in a row, the next roll of the dice is still a 1 in 6 chance of a 7. It doesn't become, an 8 out of 36 chance to roll a 7. It doesn't get more likely to come because it just happened. And that's this whole idea of trending, right? It's like, what just happened does not matter about what's about to happen. The odds and probs never change on every roll of the dice. They never change, unless, again, somebody's forcing it with their throw. That's what we have to realize. So, yeah, losing 3 don't passes in a row sucks. It sucks. If you take off the very next roll and the guy sets a point of 4, you're missing out on it being a 2-1 favorite. It doesn't matter that he threw 3 sevens. The next roll has the exact same chance. It doesn't mean it's coming again. Yeah, bankroll protection. If you have a lot of money set for shooter and you've lost that money, then you wait it out. I get that. but there's zero. I put zero stock in the fact that 3 sevens begets a 7 or 5 nines begets a 9. It's the same every roll. The chances are the same every roll, unless you're a practiced shooter who can prove that they can make an adjustment and make a change and keep things happening. That's the only difference. And that's why I get on that stuff, right? Now, again, I know the streaks will happen, right? Bet the streak appropriately. And that's my little, not really a rant, my little kind of comeback to the whole trending and I think Darkside is an anti-trender, right? When something's trending this way, he gets out of it instead of attacking it like a lot of guys do. It's fine. If that works for you, it's fine. I'm not telling you not to do that. I'm telling you that I will never do that. I'm not that guy. I've played too much craps. I've seen too much shit happen that I'm not going to try and guess what's coming. I'm going to try and bet what's happening. And that's essentially how I do it. So, all right, let's get out of here. We got to go into, lost my buttons over here. Quick cruise reminder, Southern Fried Craps Cruise out of Galveston, Texas on April 28th. My tickets are bought. Let's get this thing done. If you want to come along, it's a premier event. Hopefully we have Howard Rock and Roller is recovering from his cancer relapse. Hopefully he'll be there with us, but if not, it'll be the Michael Feldman group, Feldman and Don Wood and Eric Hazel and myself. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. So we'll see you out there. You have my number there on screen. Call me or text me if you want in on the action, and we'll hook you up. What else? What's on tap today? I got a lot to talk about today, actually, besides that little thing in the beginning there. There are 2 firesides dropping soon. I'm working. Today I'm gonna get the one with JB done. I just got to put the music around it and all that kind of stuff. That'll be coming. It's a 3-hour show. So it's a 3-hour podcast drop with just me and him. I will make smaller segments of it too to make them more consumable, but there's the big one's coming. Also, a fireside with Michael Shackelford's coming out. So I'll get both of those to drop in the next couple of weeks over the holidays. You'll have those to listen to. I'm going to be recording some more. I've got one that I want to record to talk about gambling addiction and in general, just the toll financial problems take on a family. And this can be coming from gambling or other things. I can tell you, I've had financial issues in the past because not so much from casino gambling, but from life gambling. You know, I was an entrepreneur for a while, and you know, you're gambling with your family's money to go out there and start businesses up, right? And when they fail, it's like going to the casino and rail dumping, right? It ends up being very challenging for the family. So we're going to talk about that. I also want to get a couple of people on who do dice coaching, dice coach in particular, but Heavy and some others, and talk about the idea of coaching. I know that some people get really pissed off that people charge money to be dice coaches. And they get mad that people pay money for lessons, right? And whether it's Dice Coach or Heavy or Tony Leo or whoever you decide to go with, right? Or nobody. I want to talk about that whole ecosystem of coaching and getting coaching, because I've heard the word charlatan used. I've heard the word snake oil used. I've heard a lot of pejoratives used against these guys, but I think there's something to it in terms of you might just need somebody to walk you through what you're doing. You may be a brand new player and you're getting thumped all the time. Like, what am I doing wrong? Well, here, go with somebody who's seasoned, who can help you understand how the game works one-on-one, right? I'm a believer that people's time is valuable. So we'll talk about using a dice coach or seeking one out and how that all works from a couple of guys who coach. So that's going to be an interesting podcast for sure. As you know, in January, we're starting our Gambling 101 to 401 series. It'll probably be a good week or 2 weeks for each of those. 101 might be 2 weeks long, 5 days or 10 days of instruction. I don't know how long it's going to be yet. Those series are going to come with some lectures, some demo. I might even have some homework for you. I'm taking this very, very, very seriously. So that's what's going to happen. We've done psychology and money this week. I'm just kind of giving you like a preview of what I want to talk about in those shows. Not so much give you the whole content yet. Just give you a show like what I'm planning on doing. And also, I'm considering doing a rebrand. And I want to get your thoughts. I know we're talking about other things here. I'm considering renaming the show. from Coffee and Craps to something else. And I'm considering renaming Daily Paycheck at some point too. I don't know what to call it yet, but the reason why the King of All Dice, that's pretty funny. There are some people who I will not recommend. But what I'm thinking about doing is this. The Daily Paycheck is what it is, right? That show has a decent name to it. I was thinking about calling it the Coffee Run though, because a lot of, and again, in roulette and blackjack and whatever game you want to play, you can make a coffee run in the morning. Get up early, go down there, tables are empty, do your thing. Coffee run. That seems like what that show has become. It's more of my coffee run instead of Daily Paycheck. I may consider that. This show, the same thing, right? It's called Coffee and Craps because we focus almost everything on craps, but really, I'm doing a more outside of craps gambling discussion for the next month or so. I can apply everything that we do in craps to other games, roulette, baccarat, blackjack, whatever. Poker's a little different animal. But we can apply all these learnings, all this stuff applies to every game. It's no different, right? The games are all the same. It's how you approach it. So I'm considering a rebranding of this particular show so that we can have the freedom to talk about other games at the same time. So I may think about a rebrand down here on this Coffee and Crap show. Maybe this is called the Coffee Run. I don't know. Maybe this is the Coffee Run, and it's open to other games because other games are valuable. Somebody in the chat said don't ever play roulette. I think roulette's a great game. I think baccarat's a great game if you play them right. If you understand how to attack a baccarat table and how to attack a roulette table, and you got to clear your mind of all the trending bullshit and all the stuff, right? And really attack the bet cycles. Beatable game. Beatable in terms of it's so streaky, that game, that if you can catch a streak and bet it right or back off the streaks in the correct ways, that game and baccarat too are a little more favorable to you as a gambler than this game is. I think this game is more fun for the thinkers. Those games are I think more exploitable if you have a better betting system, and I think that's interesting. So I want to think about, like I said, a rebrand. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it more as we come up into the new year. But that's kind of what I'm thinking about. So if you have thoughts on that, I would love to see you in chat. Tell me what you think about the idea of making this show expand out to other games a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit, and be a little more generic. And the Daily Paycheck show maybe being more of a coffee run show. So yeah, the 17 is. You know what's funny, AZ? When I watch these shows, the 17 and the 21 happen a lot. I mean, I know it's bullshit, right? It sure seems like that number comes out a lot. But the thing about roulette is this. I like the dozens, right? I like the outside bets. The nice thing about roulette is that they all pay the same, right? If you bet 12 random ass numbers every single time, it's the exact same payout to you as a dozen. You can bet a dozen or you can bet 12 random numbers. So pick your 12 favorite numbers, your birthdays, whatever, play them every single time and do your ladders and whatever else you're going to do. It's the same as playing a dozen. Dozens are just easier. It's put your bet down. And I think people don't realize that game it's set up mathematically perfect for all that stuff. And like I said, it's a streaky son of a gun. So anyway, here we go. All right, let's do it. Let's go here. Let's go talk about the storm. And I keep bitching about this damn thing. I love the storm. I love the idea of it. But here we are. We're at the same ratio we were at last week. We're 12-6. We were 8-4 for a minute. We were 10-5 for a minute. It just can't get out of its own freaking way. Today we won $250, which is great. Our average win is $250, like it should be. I'm doing very good discipline-wise at getting out of there quick. The losses on this one are averaging about 411. So the losses are about double the wins. I'm not operating a strict 50% loss ratio. I'm kind of doing it based on time. But when you have that kind of a loss ratio, that's not bad, right? You expect to lose more than you win on these paychecks. That doesn't worry me. It's the amount of losses, the number of losses that happen. It's losing too often. I shouldn't be 12-6. This strategy should be, whatever that would be, 14 and or 15-3 would be a better ratio. 15-3 and you're up $1,200, right? It's losing too often. And I think we've just got a bad sequence of bets that are out there. It is what it is, right? We've learned over the course of the month. This is why we do the paycheck for a month, right? If I would have done the Storm for a week, the first week we played, we got our butts kicked. I would have said the strategy sucks. The second week we made a change. We won all 5 days. And we could have said, this is the best thing in the world, play the Storm every day. You got to give it a full month to see all the ebbs and flows, all the ups and downs, and how it really plays out. And that shows itself at all of them, right? We did the 3-point Molly, the same thing. I hated it to play it. It wasn't fun to play. But over the course of a month, you saw that thing be pretty stable, which is the point. So you need the full 20 days to see these things play out, played the same effectively every single day to really see where it all works out. Where's the soft spots, right? The soft spot here is that line bet. That line bet is the soft spot. And you're saying because of the shorties, the shorties actually, the short with the 7 is good. The short rolls with the 7s are fine. You can do that all day long and win. It's the buckshots. It's the setting a point at 8, whacking the 8. That's where it's getting me. The short, and what I'm finding is that I've had shooters that have been like 17 rolls, good shooters, where I've lost money because I keep whacking the points. So it's a right side strategy that shouldn't lose on a good shooter, but it does. So and again, you got to play it that way. The whole point of it is to, give yourself the time. Played that way, it doesn't work very well. So there's I don't know. I have a love-hate with this one. I think I want it to work really bad, but it's the ratios aren't very good. Almost everything we've done aside from this one would have won on these same rolls. So that's what it's going to be. So I've got to go out there and run like all the strategies against all the rolls, especially this month here for sure. This month here I think is going to be it's going to be an interesting one to take these rolls against like the Molly or something like that. So, alrighty, let's move ahead and go into not that. Actually, I want to talk about this the grow and regress thing. I'm going to do another comparison today. I think you're going to like it. We're going to do the 6 and 8 versus the across, and I want to get through that with you. But let's preview our upcoming gambling series. We know the first section, the 101, is going to be your psychology. Who are you? Why you're here? How much money you got? The second sessions are going to be about money management. There's probably 2 weeks of shows, 2 weeks of content just on money management. And added to this is going to be taxes and marker play and interviews to talk to people about this stuff. So that's going to be a part of the Gambling 201 series. The next one's going to be a fun one for me, probably not for you, but I got to do it anyway. It's going to be the house always wins. We got to talk about math, casino math. What is the house edge? How is it calculated? What are odds versus probabilities? What are good bets and bad bets? Trends, variance, randomness, streaks, all the things we talk about. We're going to get into depth on all that stuff because we got to have good definitions around all these things. But I want to be able to refer to probabilities, odds, or edge and really have it well understood. So when we make decisions on betting, we know what makes a good bet or a bad bet. And how I talk about it, those words are going to be important. So it'll be a week or so of understanding casino math. And what I really want to get to, honestly, is the questions that you got on these things. So when you look at my plan, right, about psychology, bankroll management, discipline, that kind of thing, money management, all the questions there, and the math, I'm going to want to know from y'all, what do you want to know? So I need to get questions asked from you so I can answer them in these shows. I have a plan in my head of what I want to talk about. What I don't yet have is what you want to know about. So I'm going to start picking your brains here every day. We're going to start having a call to action with you all in Discord and here. What do you want to know about in terms of math, money management, psychology? And then the last week we'll talk about how do you win. Like that's what it's going to be. And then we'll jump into actual gameplay. But what I want to do here is actually switch and go to the table. I know that you guys are all talking about other stuff in chat, and there you go. Do what you're going to do in chat. Just keep it civil. I'm going to go to the table, and I want to cover, yesterday we did this thing. I'm going to recap yesterday's play. Hang on one second. Dustin1 wants to trigger me. He says, the data from the storm, just the line decision, come out, wins, losses, established point, blah, 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 together. That is not the word trend. And again, if you don't know what the word trend means, then we're not going to be friends. That's all I'm saying. I'm joking. Those are not trends. Trends, as you know, do not happen in craps. I don't care what you say. Trends do not happen in the game of craps. They can't, right? A trend is looking in the rearview mirror and saying, because that happened, that same thing or something else is more likely to happen next. That doesn't happen in craps. Streaks happen, variance happens, but what just happened has zero indication of what's about to happen, and that's the definition of a trend. So no, the line play that we're seeing in these strats that I'm getting killed on is not a trend. It's just it's a streak or a cluster, but it ain't a trend. And that's the words. The words have to matter. All right, here we go. Yesterday we did this. We did 10 shooters, right? I want to recap it really quick. We had 10 shooters. The first shooter, and we had one guy playing all the way across, big bets. One guy playing across with tiny bets. And the guy playing the big bets had to win one bet, and then he was covered. And what happened was the first shooter PSO'd, right? He lost $290, $300 basically, right? And then he went and 9 times in a row, he actually won. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He had 9 times in a row where he was able to get his one hit and be safe. Another player that we had this happen. He got out of jail there, and then he had like 6 straight where he didn't get, these are blacks, where he didn't get his money out, right? He had one, a loss, and a get out of jail, and then a loss, right? This was his day. So 2 players, the same set of rolls, and we can make sure I got the right things here, right? One guy loses 1 time, one guy loses 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times, okay? And it's important to remember that this guy that was quote unquote one hit and down playing safe the entire time, okay? Only on these 3 where they were both safe did he actually have a chance to make any money, because every time the other guy fried, every time the across guy who was just looking for 4 hits fried, all these blacks are not getting to 4 hits, which means he got nothing out of it too, right? Only those times where they both got to 4 hits do both guys make money. So this guy here really loses once, ties 6 times, and gets to play 3 times. The other guy loses every single time, right? We can take these losses, leave the losses up there. He loses every single time except for 3, right? And gets to play 3 times. Overall, he loses less money than this guy does, right? I think it was interesting to see how one guy seemingly wins 9 times, but really has the same amount of loss as the other guy. And that's because of the rhythm of it. Today I want to do this. We're going to go here. We're going to go a simple little comparison, okay? Counting wins and losses again. One guy in the front, $30.68. The guy in the back is going to go 160 across. Now the 160 is not proper. The 4 and 10 really should be 20. 20 to pay 40, right? These will pay 35, those will pay 40. Close enough for government work, right? 110 plus 40 is 150 across. So what we're gonna do is on the 7s, we're gonna track how many 7s we had. We're also gonna track how many times each guy got 1 hit. This is gonna be 6 and 8 only versus a cross to get 1 hit, and the bets go off. How many times can each guy in 10 shooters get 1 hit before the 7? And I said this before, right? Losing a lot of money less often is the same as losing a little bit of money more often. This guy's gonna not get the 6 and 8 more often than he's gonna get something else. He's gonna lose a little less than half as much, probably twice as often as this guy is. Let's track that and see. I've said this before. JB has said it before. We're gonna put it to the test right now. How many times do these guys lose? And I'll actually use this thing here. And we'll just track it with the chips in here, the wins and the losses for each of the guys. All right, so here we go. Let's come on out, catch a point. And we have a 9 is the point. Now again, we're looking for 1 hit and down. They both may lose because of PSO, that'll happen. But let's see how often we can get each guy to win 1 bet and get out of here. There's a 5, 3, 2, 5. This guy wins $35. I'm just gonna put in the back a white chip. Whenever they pull it off, the bets are off for him. The other guy's still looking for a 6 or an 8. How many times do they both burn is the question. There's a 7 out. So the guy in the front does not get paid on the 6. He's a loser on the first shooter. Doesn't get paid. Puck is off. Let's do it again. There's an 8. It's a point, but we don't get paid on it. Here we go. 1 hit and down. For both guys, 1 hit and down. 7. Nobody gets anything. Neither guy wins. That sucks. Okay, there's shooter 2. There's an 8. Again, the point is 8. 1 roll off, right? 7 out again. Good Lord. 2 PSOs. Both guys don't get 1 hit. That's crazy, man, right? It never happens. That never happens at all. Boy, if this was yesterday's rolls, that one guy would have had a big problem. The across guy would have had a big problem. 6-5, yo. There's a 4-3-7. The white dice are doing white dice things, right? There's a 10. All right, we're on the 10. Sweet. That's our point. Let's get 1 hit and down, folks. 1 hit and down for each guy, huh? There's a 4. So the guy in the back gets 1 hit. There's an 8. Guy in the front gets his hit. That's awesome. Good for him. Let's finish the rollout, and then we'll do another shooter. How fast can I get 10 shooters in today to see this result? 3, 2, 5. All this doesn't matter. These guys are 1 hit and down. There's the 7, 6, 1. All right, next shooter. Shooter 5. Shooter 5 gets a point of 8. Well, we're throwing a lot of 8s, but they're on the point. Setting the point. Let's go. 1 hit and down. Can we do it? 5. Awesome. The 160 across guy, not surprisingly, has a better chance of getting it done than the other guy does. There's an 8. We got it. Sweet. Hit the point. Awesome. Demonstration today is not going well for me, right? For my theory anyway. There's a 9. And again, we're not doing this until the 7. So it's 1 hit and down per shooter. So all this doesn't matter until I see a 7. It's the right way to do this test. You got to make sure that it's per shooter, 1 hit and down. It's a 3. So let me just keep going until big red comes. There's a 6. Boy, we're missing out on all kind of rolls here, huh? Uh-oh. Dice off the table. 10. That's 8. Wow, we're wasting all these great rolls. But this is the test. The test is per shooter, 1 hit and down. So there's the 7, 6, 1. Okay, here we go. New shooter. Shooter number 6. Looks like, right? There's an 8 again. Boy, the point has been 8 like every time. There we go. 1 hit and down. What do we get? We got a 7. Both guys go to the gallows and fry. Not good. Not good at all. I'm actually out of room here. I should probably do it here. I'll do it in the field. Sorry. I didn't realize that the rack was that tiny, I guess, right? Sorry about the confusion there. It's interesting how many PSOs there have been, right? Look at that. There have been 3. If both guys are burning, that's a PSO, PSO, PSO. The only way this guy doesn't win is if it's a PSO. That's terrible. Here we go. Come out 7. Ace deuce. 6. All right, that's our next point. 1 hit and down. Let's do it. 8. Both players win. This is a great day. Both players get it. That's awesome. All right, let's roll it out. There's the 6. There's the 5. Again, playing until we see a 7. There it is. Next shooter coming out. 10. 5. Okay, so this guy gets his. 10. 8. He gets his. This is a great day. They're both winning every time. Look at that. They both got it. That's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. There's the 7. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2 more shooters. Come out 7. There's a 10. 5. Okay, so the guy in the back gets his win. There's that. There's an 8. Look at this. Every single time they're both getting it. But the 6 and 8 player, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 6 and 8 player has not only kept pace, he's exceeded the other guy. He's crushing him right now. That's great. Good show. There's a 4. Let's go. 1 hit. What do we got? A 6. They both get it again. That's awesome. Out of 10 shooters, look at this. I didn't expect to see that kind of result, but that's great. Out of 10 shooters, they actually only had one difference. They both burned on the PSOs. This guy got a hit before that guy did. Every other time, they both got a hit. That's fantastic. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. We got $35. 1, 2, 3 times. He lost 150. So 7 times 35 is what? 7 times 3 is 210, 245. And he lost 150, 300, 450. He's down, whatever that is, right? The other guy here got $35, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times, and lost $60 4 times. So he's going to be ahead in profit. Actually, interesting that time. Normally, when I do this kind of a thing, what you'll see up here is that this guy here in the front will have like 2 or 3 others where he doesn't get it. He'll get like 4 or 5, 4 out of 10. He'll get like 8 out of 10. Normally, that's what you see. This was a great run where the hit that we both got was always a 6 or an 8. That's awesome. Like the 6 and 8, what does Heavy say? I'll play it on anybody. That's why. It does happen a lot. This was a little over what you expect, but that was cool. Let's do it again. We have time, I think, right? Do I have time? What time is it? I can't even see my clock from over here. It's so far away. It is 8:35. We have time to do it again. Let's do 10 more shooters. Let's rock the same thing, okay? So the first time, we know that the guy in front did all right. The guy in the back lost money. He lost 450 and won 245. So he's down $200. The guy in the front won the 6 and 8 6 times and lost it the 4 times. So here we go. Let's come out and do it again. 538. 538. This should answer the question. Do you go across for 1 hit? Or do you just play the 6 and 8 and keep it easy squeezy, right? The guy in the back gets 1. The guy in the back still, that's it. That was a 639. There's an 8. Look at this. Look at the 6 and 8 coming to play today, baby. Woo! All right, that's going to be the puck off. Again, we've got a new shooter, or the same shooter, so we're not going to go out. It's 1 hit now. There's the 7. All right, shooter number 2. We got a 9. We got a 9. 5-4. There's a 5, so the guy that's going across, has the advantage that only 6 ways to lose and 6 ways not to win. He has 6 ways to lose, 6 ways not to win. This guy here has got 6 ways to lose, but he's got 30 ways not to win, right? Or 24 ways not to win. But we're throwing a bunch of 8s, right? Every single time, the white dice are giving him 8s, which is awesome, right? He's winning almost every time. It's great. Another 8. Again, play it out to the 7. There it is. All right. Shooter 3. Round 2, shooter 3. How we doing? There's a 10 for the point. There's an 8. Both players win it. Wow. Look at me. Where were these throws? Right? When I was at the casino. Is it come out 7? Oh, no, sorry, that was the 7. That ends that shooter. All right, here we go. 6. I'll tell you what's interesting is these short rolls that we're seeing here. How would these rolls have impacted yesterday's comparisons? You know, because that's a high burn rate for the guy in the front. These one hit and down type of things. There's a 4. So again, the guy playing the across has that advantage. He's you know, got way better chance of getting it. But look at this, the 8 comes right back. That was an 8. That was a 5-3. So far, they're both 4 and 4. Isn't that great? 8 again is the point. Or sorry, 8 again is the number rather. Another 8. That's 3 8s in a row. Whoa, up top. Reroll that. Hey, what's going on? What are you barking at? There's a 5. Another 5. 7 out. Okay. That's that shooter. Now we're on shooter 5. It's a 4. Another 8. Boy, oh boy, every single shooter is giving us what we want. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. Both players are good. There's a 10. No separation this time. This is a right side player's dream, this table. What are they barking about?
The game was on.
There's a 1, 2, 3. There's a 6. Hot shooter, baby. Hot table, hot shooter, right? Again, no such thing. There's a 9, but this is a good roll right here for sure. There's a 5. Wow. That point of 4 is doing its thing, right? There's a 4 being hit. There's an ace deuce. 6. All right. 5. But it's a long roll here. Man. There's the 7. Okay, finally, we got a 7 out. That was a great shot. Great shooter. All right, here we go. We're at shooter 5. So far, both players have made money every single time, which is not the norm, for sure. Here we go. One hitting down. It's a 6, and again, both players score. 6 in a row. 6 in a row here. The last shooter was, 9 in a row or something like that? Crazy. Just crazy today. Who wishes this table was theirs, right? Rocking that 6 and 8 all day long. There's another 6. Yo, 6-5. 6-3-9. There's a hard 6. There's a 5-4-9. There's a 9 again. There's a 5. All right. Wow. 2 shooters in a row. Pretty solid rolls here, right? Another 5. None of it matters because we got our 1 hit and we're down, right? Also, there's the 7. One hitting down and staying down, probably not the best way to play craps, right? I get it. Dodging a bullet and taking your 35. These are all $35 wins, right? I get it. But there's no long-term money in that. There's a 6-3-9. That's going to be this guy winning money. There's a 5. 3. 10. Hitting everything. Everything is getting hit. There's the 6. So it took him a while to get it, but he got it, right? That's pretty cool. It took him, 5 or 6 rolls to get it, but the 6 and 8 player did finally catch a hit. So this example is going to be, again, not a great example. There's a 5 as the point. No, we're still in the point of 6. 5. It's again, theoretically, mathematically, you ought to see double the losses up here. today's just a great day, right? It's one of those things where you're in that great pocket. All right, there's my 7. 4 7 shooters. Let's go 3 more shooters. Points 5. There's a 9. That's a 5 there, 4 here. That'll be a win for the dude in the back. And there's the 8, the win for the guy in the front. Boy, oh boy, this is funny, right? I love it. It's kind of fun. Like, we'll talk about it in a minute. But when you know the math ought to be, there's a 7. The math ought to be what the math ought to be, and sometimes the dice don't care. I say it all the time, dice don't care. They don't care about your trend. They don't care about my math. They don't care about shit. They're just going to do what they're going to do. And this is a great proof of that today. 3, 2, 5. You should be seeing black chips up in the front, and we're just not. But it's good. It's a variant. Okay, there's I don't know why I did the rack again. That was stupid. 9. 9. We have one more shooter to go after this one here. There's aces. There's a 9 again. There's an 8. So again, 100% win rate. Look at this, 100%. When are you going to go to a casino and you have a 100% win rate? There's the 7 out. That's it. No, we have one more shooter up. One more shooter. That was 9 shooters. 5. This is fantastic. Fan-freaking-tastic. Midnight. 10. All right, so this guy back here gets his last win, which is great. 7 out. Oh wow. So there's your difference right there, right? So one guy literally goes 10-0. One guy goes 9-1. Go to the casino sometime and go 10-0 on your strategy. One hitting down. That's great. That's $350 in wins. But this guy won $350 just taking one hitting down for one trip around the table. That hardly ever happens, as you know. On the last set of 10 rolls, what was it? It was how many times was it? 6 or 7 out of 10, right? This time it was 9 or 10 out of 10. Perfection, right? That never happens. But that's a fun little example. I think you should try that on your own. One versus the other like that and just see. Over time, you will see this win twice as much as that. But today it just didn't work out. To prove it, but that's kind of a fun example. The 6 and 8 have some power, right? They do have some power, and I think that let me go back over here. I think that although I'm a proponent of go across, increase your spread of targets or increase your target count, especially if you're going to try and get out of a hand early like that. If you're going to do like a 2 or 3 hits and down, go across, get out of there. You're going to burn that 6 and 8 more often than the across bets, but you're burning a lot less money. Today, man, who goes 10-0, right? Besides me when I'm trying to prove something else. That's pretty damn funny. All right. I think that we are out, guys. I think that's it. I'm going to check my PC questions if there's any questions for me. If not, then I'm going to get ready to go to work. PCs. Whoa, a lot of stuff here. What's going on? These are from earlier, I think, though. Let's see. If I'm saying if a player is not at the hand by a 3rd roll, it doesn't matter. I'm not saying it doesn't matter, right? You know that. You know I say this all the time. If you, and I don't count rolls, I'm counting hits, right? 3 hits, not 3 rolls. If you set a point and go like, I don't know, 4, 11, 5, that's 3 rolls, 2 hits. I'm looking for one more hit most of the time to get out of that hand. That's not a trigger to turn my bets off. Like, I know that a lot of people think that that's 3 rolls and you got to run. Books have been written about that, right? That to me is not the answer. It's not the answer. I think you're going to have as many people who roll long as roll short, right? Or it's going to make up for it anyway. I don't believe in that. No, that's what I'm saying. I don't believe that after 3 rolls, you should turn your shit off. I just don't. I'm sorry that I don't believe that. I played long enough, as have you, and what we say all the time is like, it's I hate to use the word confirmation bias, but it's kind of confirmation bias, right? When you see me throw 4 rolls and out or whatever, it confirms what you think is going to be true. I can say the same thing on my rolls. Over the course of time, it does not matter, right? The course of time, you're going to burn anyway. right? If you're not out there, you can't win on the good roll. If you're out there too long, you're gonna lose on the short roll. Over time, those two forces will equalize. On a given day, you may be in a preponderance of this crap, of the ugly stuff, and I get it. And I know why you say what you say, and I respect it. I just don't subscribe to it, and that's got to be okay, right? That's got to be okay. How much the cruise tickets are, depending on your play, right? If you've got player's card, if you've got some historical play that we can apply to it, because the cruise ship is they would love to comp you on the cruise, get you out there for nothing or discounted rate. So I've got to assess your play. So if you've got player's cards at Caesar or Station or anywhere else, let me know. That's part of it. We can put that with them and they will make the evaluation. So let's see, what else do we have? Let's see. See, this is where I think you're wrong. It's a mistake to assume, not to assume that what's happening will not continue. It's the truth. I'm sorry, it's the truth. Clusters happen, right? We know that they form, but literally me throwing whatever this is, it's a hard 6. Me throwing this 6, the very next roll, it's still the same 5 out of 36 chance for that 6 to come. It doesn't change. Because I threw 5 6s does not increase the probability to 8 out of 36. It doesn't change the probabilities. It is what it is. Yeah, they happen in bunches, but because it happened does not mean it's going to happen again. And I know you don't believe me, but that's gospel. You can write that down in stone. There is zero correlation between what happened and what's going to happen. Now, your brain and your eyes may see that things happen in sequences, and I know that guys bet on that. Good. Go win your money. But I'm telling you, there's no truth to it. There's no truth to the fact or saying that because that rolled, that the next roll is going to be whatever is it, a 5-1? A 3-3 does not turn into a 5-1 because I rolled a 3-3 the last time. It just doesn't happen, right? 6, there's a probability of it coming, and that's what it is. You have to accept that, right? You can, and I say this all the time, you make a disciplined player, which I think you are, and I'm speaking to Darksider specifically here, but everybody should hear this. A disciplined player makes informed decisions. I know that a lot of guys, Dusted One's another guy, does a hopping system, right? I know Blacklight also likes to read the table and make bets based on what's coming. Make informed decisions, right? Your informed decision in your mind says, I saw this, therefore I will see that. My informed decision says, I saw this, I don't care, right? I'm looking at every roll as an independent event based on the odds, right? We both have the same information. We're both making decisions based on the information. We're both wrong, right? Everybody's going to be wrong. As when the next roll comes and it's a 9, we can both say, I can say I was right, you can say you got unlucky or whatever it is. That's the thing. You just got to remember that. And I'm not attacking anybody. I'm just pointing it out. I'm pointing it out. And that's you got to accept that that's the truth. The probabilities don't change based on what happened. They don't. They just don't. Do clusters form? Sure. Can you win by betting those things differently? Sure. But let's call it what it is. And let's be honest about no. Right? 7s are running behind. I get you. 4s and 10s run ahead sometimes. It happens. But that doesn't mean that it's going to keep happening. And I think that's the thing. If you're betting on it and you can kind of increase as you go and you win, that's great. You catch a streak. But you're not making those bets because what happened is going to keep happening. You're just hoping that it does. And there's a difference in that. Knowing that it will and hoping that it does, two different mindsets. And we talked about earlier, my series coming up is going to be about the philosophy, the psychology of it. That's what I'm talking about. What just happened because, or what just happened in spite of. Two different ways of looking at the same result. And I think that's where I think I just say that's where the money is, but that's where the money is, right? Getting your brain right, I think, is an important thing. So there it is. Let's see. Line date on the Storm. I can pull the line date on the Storm. I gotta get it out. The problem is I gotta find out on what roll number I started, and I gotta pull just that sequence of rolls out of the list, right? Which I can do. It's just gonna take me some time to dig through it. But you're right. I would love to see how many pass line winners there were versus pass line losers, it's probably going to be 60-40 like it should be. It's all about sequencing. It's when does my pass line bet win, right? If it wins when I'm at $50 on the don't versus when it wins when I'm at 180 on the don't, two different outcomes for the same decision point, right? That's what I think is going to be interesting to see. But I got to track it. I got to figure out how long, at which time those events all happened. It'll probably be, exactly 1/6 of the time for each of the events that have happened. I'm sure that's what we'll see in the long run. But yeah, I'll pull it out. What else we have? Anything else y'all want to say? Any questions? Looks like no. Yeah, we do. Wait, we'll have to. We talked about this on the phone last night. We'll talk about it here on upcoming. I think we should work that out somehow. This come out sequence in the 4 and 10. I think there's some juice in there for sure. How many times today was the 0.4? Right. There you go. All right, I'm out of here. This is complete nonsense, by the way, Biff. You got to take a look at Jack Gase did a great video on this, a really great video on the law of big numbers, and they will not equalize. But what will happen is over time. So if you have 100 results, and in that 100 results, the reds are running 20 higher, or the sevens, in our case, are running 10 more sevens than you should have saw in the next in that 100 rolls, that does not mean in the next 100 rolls you'll see 7 less sevens. What it does mean, though, is out of the next 10,000 or 100,000 rolls, you might still be off. You might have the exact perfect sequence the rest of the way through. The 10 extra sevens that you saw when it was 100 rolls was 10%. 10 extra sevens when you have 1,000,000 rolls is an infinitesimal percentage. You're still off by 7 or 10 or whatever the number is, but over the course of time, the big numbers make that percentage so small it doesn't matter. That's why the pyramid always forms. The pyramid forms because when you're doing millions of trials, the variations that will invariably happen, they don't get squashed and equalized. They're still there, but they matter a lot less in the law of big numbers. And that's what we always say. That's why I say, if I get crushed on the don't 5 times today, at some point, right, that I'm never going to get those 5 back, but at some point I will win 6 or 7 too many of the other ones too, right? Over the percentages will be over percentage here. At the end of the day, the pyramid forms perfectly. And that's why over your lifetime of play, you have to look at that stuff. I think your lifetime of play is a law of big numbers thing. And you have to take a look at everything in that entirety. And I think it's hard. It took me a while to get my head wrapped around that fact. It really did. I fought that for a long time. I was like everybody else. In the moment, I'm playing a short term, 100 rolls, 80 rolls. I got to play that. And people kept telling me, no, you're playing this. You're playing it. You're playing a window in 10,000 rolls. And you got to look at your entirety of play to really get down to, does your strategy work or does your play style work, right? It's two opposing forces, but the end result of that is that you are participating in a long game. We have to remember that. So, what else is being said over here? I saw somebody said, try the Arnold. Everybody wants me to try the Arnold. I know, I can't try them all. Man, Anthony. The Arnold looks cool. I like it. I like the idea of it, but I've got to, I got to pick my poison next month. We're getting down to like, what are we going to do next month for the paycheck? Is it going to be the Arnold, which I've never really rolled out, or the Pony, which I have rolled out and have some faith in? I gotta play them both and just see maybe we'll take next week and do some A versus B stuff and just see what we like better for the thing. So that's it. It is time to go to work. So love the debate, love the conversation, keep challenging me, right? I love when we get challenged. It makes it fun. Otherwise, it's just me pontificating, right? So keep the debate questions coming. And again, going back to the Gamblers 101 through 401, any questions that you got or things you disagree with or you want to just dive into, let's talk about it. Ask me psychology questions, money management questions, math questions, whatever you want. I'm happy to make entire shows about these things, and we certainly can do that. So that's it, folks. I'm out for the day. God bless all you guys, and see you in the next one. Bye. Where's my end? There it is.